Barefoot suspect in $90 million Minnesota fraud scheme captured hours after fleeing FBI and caught on camera escape.
His name is Muhammad Omar, and this video shows the moments after that jump you mentioned. He runs around a fence and then hobbles away. Investigators say he ripped off taxpayers by exaggerating how often he cared for patients and even claiming to help someone who was actually dead.
I want you to get a good look at him right now. You'll see him. You'll see him running here.
The man on your screen limping away while holding one of his flip-flops is Muhammad Omar. Federal investigators say this surveillance video shows the moments after he jumped off a fourth-floor balcony to escape. At one point, you see him fall and lose a sandal before he gets up and hops away.
Out of the overall $90 million, they're crediting him with pocketing about $3.6 million. And with all that money, he couldn't bring himself to buy a proper pair of sneakers, boots, shoes, or something to run in. His footwear of choice remained a raggedy pair of slides, and it came back to bite him because they betrayed him almost immediately. I'm just saying, if the FBI is on my ass, I'm going to have a fresh pair of Timbs, Reebok pumps, or something, and I promise you, they're going to be lace tight. Y'all are too lax out there. A Minnesota fraud suspect who leapt from a fourth-floor balcony to avoid arrest Thursday morning has been captured. This is why drug dealers buy all the dope sneakers, because in case they have to run, they want to make sure their footwear is top quality. After today's interagency press conference announcing 15 public health care fraud indictments in Minnesota, the below subject who was on the run, Muhammad Omar, has now been arrested, Patel wrote on X, including a photo of the suspect hobbling while holding one shoe, or what's left of one shoe.
In court records, federal prosecutors say Omar and another man received more than $3 million in false and fraudulent claims. In one case, prosecutors say the pair billed Medicaid for 92 hours worth of home health care services for a dead patient. The feds say Omar used the taxpayer cash to invest in property in Kenya and lease a Mercedes for more than 60 grand.
This is indicative of a societal issue, and I'm not talking about the scamming. The scamming is the backbone. It's the lifeblood of the American culture. I'm talking about all you folks out there walking around in slippers and slides like the world is your living room when the aliens, when the zombies, when the YNs, when the cops, when the robbers, when the cowboys, when the Indians come for you. Do you really want to be wearing sandals? He's charged with healthcare fraud involving a housing stabilization services company with fraudulent claims for services not provided and diverting the proceeds for personal benefit. The FBI director added Omar and the other 14 suspects are accused of bilking taxpayers out of $90 million by defrauding Minnesota's state-run Medicaid programs, who kept authorizing them to get more and more funding. These people are just a symptom of a bigger problem. We need to know who gave them the money and who continued to give them the money and to what end.
Muhammad Omar jumped from a fourth-floor balcony to avoid arrest. FBI Director Kash Patel says Omar was arrested within 2 hours after agents executed a raid tied to the fraud crackdown. Omar now charged with healthcare fraud involving a housing stabilization services company. The FBI says he submitted fraudulent claims for services that were never provided. The FBI has surged personnel and resources to Minneapolis beginning last December to investigate large-scale fraud.
Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. That money was proposed for. It was proposed to be intended for children with autism, the homeless, disabled people. So if you see the correlation there, these are all groups of human beings that society at large really doesn't want to. They're reluctant to deal with these type of people on a day-to-day basis. Then you got general Medicaid recipients and child care and early learning programs. Any one of these alone is a monumental task to take on, and the government threw a bunch of bread at a group of unlicensed crooks and left our most vulnerable demographics at their mercy. Nobody was qualified to do anything but forge paperwork and cash checks. This is how greedy these folks were. With all the help that's needed for these groups, they could have used just a small portion to actually do what they proposed, to actually help them, and ran that scam for at least another 10 years.